From this term's roundtable, I have learned a lot of previously unexplored and uncovered knowledge blind spots. And in the process of collating my notes, I have found that this information is all closely related. From listening to the deep time walk on the real set path while observing everything around me, this audio-visual with sensation actually touched me as the timeline and story of the development of the Earth and its life throughout 4.6 billion years resonated in my ears. A story that has no end, from the origins of the planet all the way to the living present. Instead, it raises the question of our common life, stable Earth or greenhouse Earth, and offers suggestions for positive action and radical hope. At the same time, according to the IPCC report, global warming getting worse. This means that the climate crisis will never be solved if humanity doesn't do so. Sea levels are warming and becoming more acidic, and here I've also found a case study related to this. From the article Whose Knowledge, Whose Nature, I also learned that nature is not an entity that exists, but is co-produced with the collective practice of humans. However, the social and cultural dynamics are disrupted by the governmental strategies of intervention that fragment the speciality of the cultural constructs represented in a given landscape. Thus, in the discourse of biodiversity, the main value of the nature's existence has been transformed into a service to capital. From the article There is no alibi in designing, I also learned about cybernetics and the importance of integration and dispersion in design, and that action and theory are inseparable, and that we need to keep exploring and reflecting in the design process. And as I learned from the article Take by the Line, maps are the weapons of imperialism. Indigenous maps and reflective projections both undermine colonial spatial strategies. This is also relevant to the theme of my design project, where Punjab was colonized by the British from 1849 to 1947. Here is a contour map I found as an inspiration and reflection. As for the creation of the world of geopolitics, I also used three maps to tie my ideas together. In my self-rating, I've read Thinking Like a Mountain, although criticized past and present approaches to conservation as a matter of more education, regulation, and economic incidence, as none of this changed the fundamental ethical relationship between humans and their land communities. As also calls for unleashing the evolutionary process of land ethics, no longer treating desert land use as a purely economic issue, but looking at each issue in terms of what ethically and aesthetically right, as well as what is economically appropriate. From this terms roundtable, I've learned a lot about not only the environment, ecology, colonization, line, but also the way of thinking that is required of the designer. I believe that with this knowledge, I will be able to observe and digest new knowledge better in the next term.